First up, in the Great British Car Share Rally Legend Special, Sarah, you'll keep saying that just to convince myself that these are rally cars, is the Chrysler Avenger. This is a Chrysler which came out in '76. 3 years earlier, the Avenger first broke cover on the rally stages. It was on the Donegal Rally as a course car as the Avenger Tiger. Now, I know you love the Avenger Tiger.
I love the Avenger Tiger, yeah.
We can have that as a rally car.
Of course.
That was like a rally car for the road.
Yeah.
But it started with this.
Yeah.
And it was never quite the match that it needed to be to beat the Escorts and grab the headlines. It would win its class on everything in '74, but in '74 RAC it was 26th, while you had an Escort, a Stratos, a Saab in first, second and third, so it was never going to do the business. But we'll come to the car that did, and it's kind of an evolution of the Avenger. And I'm going to have that, even though the purists will say, no, it was not. But this is a rally car.
I do feel like today you are being in the rallying scene. You're going to teach me quite a lot today, and you're going to teach these people quite a lot about how these cars evolved and where they got to in the rally.
And why they're important as classic cars as a result, because back in the 70s, rallying had bigger audiences. The RAC Rally had more people watching it than football did in the entire season. And that's completely flipped on its head. And obviously, in this series, we hope to change that.
Yeah.
So at the end of this third series of the Great British Car Share, there'll be more people watching rallying than watching football. Or something. Should we drive the Avenger? You start.
Yes.
I want to say, Sarah, this is your kind of car. You strike me as an Avenger girl. No?
I'd have loved to have been in the Avengers. Well, do you know what? I haven't actually driven an Avenger before.
Have you not?
No, I know this is the Chrysler, but I've not driven a Hillman Avenger. I don't think I have. So this is nice to be in the driving seat. I want to see what it's like to drive. Initially, I'm not that impressed with the gearbox.
No,
it's
no.
a little bit wappy.
Yeah, that's been the word of our series, hasn't it?
a bit wappy. I think that is a theme though in classic cars, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, I know you're gonna say that about the car's future and the rally aspect and where this took everybody with this car into the rally scene. But I want to know what you like as a classic car. What do you like about this as a classic car?
I like the way Avengers look. I've always liked the way Avengers look, and they were really aimed at the Cortina. And I think, although the Cortina is my car, it's my favourite classic car. The Avenger was actually more stylish than the Cortina in many ways. It had a bit of American influence, and so I do like that. And I think this pitch between the Cortina and the Marina, the Avenger looks far more exciting.
Typical Coke bottle, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think the Chrysler front end ruined it a little bit until they turned it into the Sunbeam, because it suited the Sunbeam. For some reason, it didn't suit a bigger car, that front end for me. It just looked a bit bulbous. But I have to talk about it being a rally car because the Roots Group
because that's where your passion is.
Yes, and that's why I picked these cars. So the Roots Group had the Imp, and you had some people like Andy Dawson doing really well in Hillman Imps, but they needed something more powerful. They needed something that would actually take on the Escorts and the Cortinas. And so out came the Avenger. And Des O'Dell, who ran the competition department, really got people behind the project. Really wanted the Avenger to take on the Cortinas and the Escorts. And do you know what? It first broke cover as the Avenger Tiger in 1973 with its 1600 on twin carbs. It did the Donegal Rally as a course car.
Yeah.
And it looked fantastic. Robin Mansell, who's still rallying today, did the Nicky Grist stages in 2023 at the age of 83, pioneered this car as the works driver. In 74, it won almost everything it entered in its class. But it was never grabbing the headlines. 74, the RAC Rally was won by an Escort. There was a Stratos and a Saab 96. It was Timo Mäkinen, Stig Blomqvist, Sandro Minari. This was 26th overall, the Avenger. And the Roots Group needed something more. And so with money from the government to keep the Linwood plant alive in Scotland, they developed the Sunbeam, which was an Avenger with the back chopped off. And they might have spoken to Lotus about a few bits on that one. So that they had a good base in order to go rallying. So for me, the Avenger started the Roots Group's foray into cars that were designed to go rallying. So they were really inspired by rallying.
Yeah.
So that's what this is.
Yeah.
It wasn't a super successful rally car in its own right, but it led to something very special indeed. This is, you know, the beginning of the story of Ford getting its crown swiped from under it in the 81 World Championship when, yes, Ari Vatanen won the Drivers' Championship with Dave Richards alongside, but it was Henry Toivonen and it was the Sunbeams that actually took, and Tony Pond and those great masters of rallying that took the Constructors' crown for the Roots Group. So there you go. That's what I like about this car.
I'm just impressed, to be honest, how you said all that without even taking a breath.
Yeah.
That's what I'm most impressed about, and the fact that that chap in that car just had no idea that I was driving behind him.
Don't you know who she is?
The fact is, he just stopped and started to reverse.
So I promised you rally cars. This is car number 1.
It is.
Have I given you a rally car?
You haven't given me a rally car, but
Right.
you've given me kind of the birth of the Sunbeam.
The birth of the Sunbeam.
The Sunbeam Talbot.
Yeah.
And I do get that, and hopefully the guys and gals out there watching that will understand, and maybe you're going to be teaching them, hopefully, a little bit about the crossover from the classic car production into the rally production cars.
Yep.
Because a lot of people, all right, you might be into classic cars, but you might not understand how that happened. You know, how Roots Group and British Leyland were all, you know, this driving force trying to be number 1 on the rally scene.
And ultimately beat Ford.
Yes. So hopefully it's going to be a bit of a history lesson for everybody,
Yeah.
and me, because I know there's certain vehicles that I know that went on to become rally legends, but I'm not 100% into that scene. I do love rally cars. I love being a passenger in a rally car. I would love to be able to, at this moment now, to be driving this around here as if it was a rally car.
No, you look, this at heart, this might be a Chrysler Avenger, but at heart, this is a rally car.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what actually I like about classic cars. Why drive a Clan Crusader?
Yes.
And that was part of the Roots
Yeah.
Group competition story as well, because the engine and the transmission from the car that came second on the mounts came from Andy Dawson's Imp, and the one on the Mull Rally that won in '72. That was also Roots competition department that were helping the Clan Motor Company develop those cars. So I like cars that have rally heritage.
Yes.
And while this might not be a rally car, and I did promise you rally cars, this has rallying at its heart, because this is the car that started it for the Roots Group.
If you ask this car, when it came off the production line, if this car could talk and you said to it, what do you want to be when you grow up? That's what it would have said. I want to be a rally car. Medium-sized family cars were all the rage in the 70s, and the Roots Group's American influence was clear to see in the Avenger's waistline. Calm down, I'm talking about the Coke bottle styling. But if the plan was for Avenger to keep pace with the British motorist's ever-growing need for speed, it needed some go-faster stripes. And boy did it get them. The Avenger Tiger looked every bit the rally car, and importantly, it boasted better performance stats than the popular Escort Mexico.
It was a rally car, that's the point. The Avenger Tigers were all built by the Chrysler Competition Centre, which would explain the turn of speed. Matching the Escort Mexico for road stats was one thing, but to take Ford, and for that matter Vauxhall, on the rally stage, something else was needed. Enter the Talbot Sunbeam Lotus, a shorter, stubbier Avenger in essence, with a fire-breathing 2.2-litre Lotus engine. Lotus Sunbeams took the rally world by storm, with star drivers like Tony Pond, Stig Blomqvist, Russell Brooks and Henry Toivonen. In 1981, the ultimate upset came for Ford, who would win the World Rally Drivers' Championship with Ari Vatanen, but miss out on the manufacturer's title thanks to Toivonen's fast Sunbeam. Sunbeams still rule the roost on the special stages today. That white and blue works livery that started life on the Avengers remains one of the most recognisable in the sport. world champions started in Roots Group cars. Henry Toivonen, Stig Blomqvist, Tony Pond, Colin McRae started in these cars. And I think that's really special.
Set of names, that, isn't it?
It is. And they went on to win world championships.
Yeah.
And although, and you will have to forgive me about this because I'm going to cram the Sunbeam into this story because it fits like a glove. The Avenger became the Sunbeam. They needed something that would take on the Escorts. That was the car, and that won world championships. And you can't overstate that.
Look how iconic that car is now.
Yeah.
And they command, it commands big money.
Well, that white and blue colour scheme that you recognise from the Lotus Sunbeam started on the Avenger, had Team Chrysler Dealer Sport or something down the side of the cars. And that carried on to the Sunbeams, and they kept that colour scheme.
Yeah.
These didn't have big arches. These didn't have 2.2 litre flame-throwing Lotus engines. They didn't have rally pedigree from the ground up, but this is where Des O'Dell got his idea, and this is where he managed to sell it to the boardroom. Yeah. Just as they were going through all of those massive changes, you know, Roots Group, Hillman to Chrysler, which that takeover was done in '64. It was only in '76 where they started to really rebadge the cars and really, you know, we saw that changeover if we were there. And then it obviously got bought out by Peugeot Talbot. And Peugeot Talbot completed their
you looked at me when you went, if you were there.
I tried not to. I tried not to. I just didn't look at me. And Peugeot Talbot took over this company, and all of that tumultuous stuff going on behind the scenes in the boardroom. And yet Des O'Dell managed to sort of navigate his way through, keep the budget for rallying, build cars for rallying, use government money to build cars, to develop cars that would go rallying. And in '78, when Talbot came onto the scene as the new owner of the company, Peugeot Talbot, they had a ready-made rally car, and they couldn't not go rallying and win world championships. I love this story. Can you tell he loves the story? Can I drive it?
I think you're going to have to, aren't you, really? Yeah. Come on, that's why I've stopped. Let you get in the driving seat. It might stop him talking for a second, just let him take a breath. I doubt that very much.
The dashboard reminds me of the Sunbeam, and I know we're in an Avenger, and I've got to talk about the Avenger. And the Avenger Tiger, as you've already mentioned, is one of the classic sports cars. 72, when that thing first came out, it just took the world by storm, because it wasn't just RS 2000s.
They're beasts. They're literally beasts on the road, aren't they? They are.
And they just look fabulous, don't they? With the spoiler on the boot lid. I mean, even the RS 2000 didn't have a boot lid spoiler like that. They look so rare.
Yeah, the Tiger, for me aesthetically, the Tiger wins.
And again, rally bred with its black bonnet, like the old Safari rally cars, and its black stripes down the side. Everything in those days was geared towards theatre. Yes. I like that word when it comes to classic cars. And I think that's what rallying brought to these cars. So this is a very bog standard Chrysler Avenger, although it's got velour.
I was going to say, it's not too bog standard. The bog standard
I've got a blanking patch on the...
the bog standard ones didn't even have their sun visors.
Did they not?
No.
Don't need those in a rally car, though.
No, you don't need those in a rally car, but no, this is not a bog standard. I would...
1600, and it goes pretty well.
It does. You see, if I'd have driven it like this, you'd have told me off.
Morris were thinking, what should we call our cars?
Excuse me.
The Marina.
Be careful now. Be very, very careful on where you tread when it comes to British Leyland, okay?
And there was Chrysler with, let's call it the Avenger. Cool name.
Well, yeah.
It's a rally car.
It is a rally car.
So, the Sunbeam, let's go on to the Sunbeam.
Yeah.
Because, as I mentioned, that was government money. You know, they sold the government a sob story that the Linwood plant was going to have to close, and what they did was they developed the Sunbeam. And by the time Talbot arrived, they said, look guys, we've built this, and it's going to take on the Escorts. And by that point, the Escorts in rallying were winning everything. And I just think Peugeot Talbot's what must have thought, you're mad. You're utterly mad.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
there was Henry Toivonen, who would go on to be, you know, a Group B legend, and he won the RAC, the rally, in a Lotus Sunbeam. And it was actually Sunbeam's first and third that year, split by an Escort. Yeah, I know.
No. Can you imagine?
And that's just incredible.
Cross Ford were. I mean, what do you think? I'd be more interested to know what the discussion was in the Ford boardroom compared to the Chrysler boardroom. You know.
Well, Boreham threw everything at it, absolutely everything, and then you got the superstar drivers. So did Roots Group, and they had Tony Pond, and you know, they had Henry Toivonen, and all of these names that basically it became an arms race.
Yeah.
So at Boreham, they were like, what do we do now? We've got some competition. I mean, it had competition, you know, Stig Blomqvist in a Saab, Sandro Minari in a Stratos were competition enough, but in the Mark II era, you know, they were the cars to beat.
Yeah.
So it got to 81, and you know, the Lotus Sunbeam was coming on strong. It was nearing the end of its existence, but it was still strong. You had the Chevettes in the mix, and Ford won the World Championship in 81 with Harry Vatanen, but got beaten to the manufacturer's title by the Sunbeam. Essentially, a redeveloped Avenger with a little bit of help from Lotus.
I bet they were fuming.
Yeah, but what a fantastic story for rallying. So that for me is the Avenger. It's a car that on the road took on the Cortina and the Marina, but on the rally stages took on the very best
Viva,
rally cars in the world.
Vauxhall Viva.
Yeah. So I know for you this is a fabulous classic car.
Oh, it's lovely. It really is, and you can see why enthusiasts love them and continue to covet them. They're a great vehicle. They're a great car.
But for me, it's a very important rally car.
I get that.
Bolt some arches on, chop the back end off. You got a Sunbeam. Stick a Lotus engine in. Yeah. Your first rally car of the day.
Thanks. No, it's not though, is it? It's really not. And let's just get that out there. It's not. We're not in a rally car.
These are the British classic cars that made rallying.
Yeah.
This became a rally monster. But I agree, it's not a rally monster.
It's not a rally monster. Not with velour seats and sunrises.